Okay, today is March 14th, and this is the voting session for the Ways and Means Committee. First up, House Bill 185, and there are amendments. Delegate Plakovich-Carr.
Thank you, Madam Chair. HB 185 extends funding for the Therapeutic Child Care Grant Program. The amendments basically strike the bill and instead specify that the governor, have a mandated appropriation of $1.5 million for fiscal years 2027 through 29. Move the amendments.
Second. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor of the amendment signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, motion on the bill is amended. Unfavorable. Second. Okay, any discussion on the bill? Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, House Bill 185 passes favorably as amended. House Bill 226, and there are amendments. Delegate Ebersol.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is a local bill for Anne Arundel County Schools, which seeks to remove the requirement for number of days in the school year for Anne Arundel County Schools from 180 and seeks to have them adhere to only the hours requirement for the year. Has some other pieces in it about having half days, which may or may not have been necessary in the law, but they've been placed in the language in any case. We have several amendments. One of the amendments does clarify that they won't have to have 180 days in their school year. We have placed a sunset on the bill. That's an amendment for 2 years. We also are going to ask the county to give us a day-by-day report, not every day, but at the end of the year, counting the number of hours that students are in school each day. In addition, we want to make it clear that if they have a late opening or an early dismissal due to an emergency, those hours will not be able to be counted as instructional time. They would have to be subtracted from the instructional time in that day. We've also said that if there are fewer days for one reason or another in this, and we're not guaranteed they're going to do that, but should they, hourly employees must be given the opportunity to complete other jobs that would help to make them whole for their salaries for the year. I think that covers them all, but I'll make sure, Alistair, we didn't miss something there.
He said you nailed it.
I nailed it. Okay, then I move the amendments.
Any discussion on the amendments? Okay, all in favor of the amendment signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, motion on the bill is amended.
Move the bill as amended, Madam Chair.
Any discussion? Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? House Bill 226 passes favorably as amended. House Bill 691, and there are amendments. Delegate Wells.
Yep, thank you. So on House Bill 691, appropriations was the primary, we were secondary. The amendments remove provisions relating to service credit in the state pension system to allow the pension agency time to evaluate the impact of the proposed change. And the second amendment makes technical and clarifying changes. Move the amendments.
Okay, any discussion? Okay, all in favor of the amendment signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, the amendment's passed. Motion on the bill is amended.
Move bill as amended.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, House Bill 691 passes favorably as amended. House Bill 781, and there are amendments. The Vice Chair.
Thank you, Madam Chair. House Bill 781, Election Law, Polling Place Procedures, Voting by Elderly Voters and Voters with Disabilities, the Accessible and Expedited Voting Act of Maryland. This bill requires an expedited voting process for elderly voters and voters with disabilities at early voting centers. The amendments remove a requirement that the local boards of election make immediate adjustments to the expedited voting process during election day. They streamline the language and make clarifying changes. I move the subcommittee amendments.
Okay, any discussion? Delegate Buckle?
What are we defining as elderly voters? Is it like, so is it 62, 65, 75? How do you qualify to get these? Everyone wants people who really need it to get them, but how do we make sure somebody doesn't just show up and say, you know, I can get it, I'm disabled?
You don't want to qualify?
No. Listen, you're pretty close to me, so. Yeah, I mean, you know, technically Ebersol is elderly. Does he get it? Can you tell us that?
Under the election law article, it's 65 and older.
65 and older, and then for the disability, is it someone that has to have some kind of indication that, you know, they can just show up and say, hey, I am disabled, and you have to accommodate
It would just
them?
be self-identified. They wouldn't be screening anyone.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, any further discussion? Delegate Young?
I just want to just express my sincere appreciation for this bill. Over and over again, especially during COVID, we saw these long, long lines, and seniors were either sitting on the side or, we had to get like wheelchairs and things like that. I mean, it just makes sense, and I do think it makes a lot of sense for it to kind of be self-identified, maybe the election judge being the final arbiter. So just glad to see this going past and voting green.
Okay, thank you. Any further discussion? Okay, was there a motion on the bill as amended? Oh, Delegate Roberts?
I just wanted to say that I was going to be taking Kaylin Young to lunch.
Okay,
Move favorable.
okay. All right, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, House Bill 781 passes favorably as amended. House Bill 799, and there are amendments. Delegate Feldmark.
Thank you, Madam Chair. House Bill 799 establishes the Maryland Innovation Initiative University Partnership Extension Program within the Maryland Technology Development Corporation. There are amendments. The amendments expand the extension program to additional educational institutions of higher education deemed eligible by MII. They reduce and make discretionary certain appropriations for the program, alter certain participation requirements for the program, and require TEDCO to submit a report on similar programs in neighboring states and the benefits and costs of expanding MII to all institutions of higher education in the state. Move the amendment.
Second. Okay, any discussion? Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, amendments passed. Motion on the bill as amended. Move favorable. Second. Okay, any discussion? Okay, if you would like to be a me too, please raise your hand. Okay. Delegate Fair, Delegate Roberts, Delegate Wu. Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, House Bill 799 passes favorably as amended. House Bill 906, and there are amendments. Delegate Plokovich-Carr.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This bill requires entities making independent expenditures in campaigns to disclose on a fundraising solicitation that the solicitation is not approved by a candidate. The amendments require entities making independent expenditures to disclose on a fundraising solicitation the 5 largest recipients of expenditures made by the entity in the preceding calendar quarter and the amount received by each recipient. Move the amendments.
Second. Is there any discussion on the amendments? Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, the amendment's passed. Motion on the bill is amended. Second. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, House Bill 906 passes favorably as amended. House Bill 983, and there are amendments. Delegate Miracu North.
Requires counties in which a significant number of individuals speak a language other than English and are limited English proficient to provide language assistance to voters. The amendments require local board of elections that are covered by the bill to provide translation services through video conference at each early voting center and election day polling place, provide online voting materials in languages other than English, and make efforts to recruit bilingual election judges. The amendments also generally simplify and streamline the requirements of the bill, including removing the authorization to enforce the bill through private lawsuits. Move the amendments? Okay, sorry.
Discussion on the amendments. Delegate Hartman.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So as amended, do we have, I guess we don't get a revised fiscal note as far as what these voice conference services cost and all that kind of stuff? I mean,
Mr. Ward.
So we don't have a revised fiscal note, but we have consulted extensively with the state board, and they think the costs will be roughly the same as under the fiscal note with the bill as amended. We do know that in Prince George's County, they did this video conferencing technology in 2024 as a pilot program, and it was $37,000 for that. For the 2024 elections, primary and general, for the video conference technology.
for one county?
Correct.
the people on the other side, are they set up just for the purpose of the election, or is this like a generic translation, whereas we don't know if they're partisan or whatever? We don't know if we're speaking with somebody from one party or another. Help me understand who's on the other side.
Right, I believe it is a service that's used in other contexts other than just elections, but very importantly, and the bill does specify this, they are actually facilitating communicating with the election judge. So it's not, they are not, so basically they're just facilitating the conversation with the election judge, between the voter and the election judge. So that ensures that you've got nonpartisan election professionals who are actually communicating with the voter. They're just using the translator as a medium to do that.
And then as far as the number of the variety of languages, how's that determined? The number or variety?
So that's specified under the bill. There's thresholds that there would have to be at least 2% of the citizen voting age population or 4,000 individuals who speak a particular language in the county and are limited English proficient. If those thresholds are met, then those are the languages that would have to be provided, and only those languages.
Okay, thank you.
Delegate Long, okay, no longer. Okay, any other questions? Okay, we're going to do a roll call on the favorable as amended. That was the motion, right? Was it, did we do the motion? Okay. Okay. We passed the amendments. Yeah. Okay, so just move the bill. Go ahead, move the bill. Okay. Okay, so we're going to do a roll call on the favorable as amended. The Vice Chair.
Yes.
Delegate Ebersol.
Yes.
Delegate Patterson.
Yes.
Delegate Buckle.
No.
Delegate Fair.
Yes.
Delegate Hornberger.
No.
Delegate Long. No. Delegate Young. Delegate Young. Delegate Miller. Yes. Delegate Roberson. Yes. Delegate Roberts. Yes. Delegate Wims. Yes. Delegate Vogel. Yes. Delegate Wu. Yes. Delegate Hartman. No. Delegate Miracle North. Yes. Delegate Griffith. Yes. Delegate Wells. Yes. Delegate Plakovich Carr. Yes. Delegate Feldmark.
Yes.
House Bill 983 passes favorably as amended. House Bill 1016, and there are amendments. Delegate Feldmark.
Thank you, Madam Chair. House Bill 1016 establishes the Baltimore Convention and Tourism Redevelopment and Operating Authority to govern the Baltimore Convention site and the Baltimore City Destination Marketing Organization, Visit Baltimore. The amendments strike provisions establishing the operating authority, extend the Baltimore Convention and Tourism Redevelopment and Operating Authority Task Force, and require the task force to identify and make recommendations on certain funding sources and mechanisms. Move the amendments.
Second.
Any discussion? Okay, all in favor of the amendment signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, the amendments pass. Motion on the bill is amended.
Favorable.
Okay, any discussion? Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, House Bill 1016 passes favorably as amended. House Bill 1204, and there are amendments. Delegate Plakovich Carr.
Thank you, Madam Chair. House Bill 1204 has to do with students who are eloping, meaning that they are leaving the school grounds. We are striking a lot of the bill with the amendments. So what is in at this point is that a parent or guardian of a student who elopes, meaning they leave the school grounds, would need to be notified the same day as opposed to within 24 hours. That would happen whether or not the student has an IEP. And we have also clarified in the definition of wandering that does not include a flash pass, and we've made a change to the short title of the bill. Move the amendments.
Okay, any discussion? Okay, all in favor of the amendment signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, the amendment's passed. Motion on the bill is amended. Any discussion? Yeah. So if you would like to be a Me Too, just raise your hand. I want to be a Me Too. The chair. Any Me Too's, raise your hand. Delegate Roberts. Delegate Wu. Delegate Miracle North. Delegate Griffith, Delegate Wells, Delegate Plakovich Carr, and Delegate Feldmark.
Patterson is raising my hand.
And Delegate Ebersol. Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, House Bill 1204 passes favorably as amended.
I'll still get my hand up.
Wims?
And I apologize, I'm being faster.
And you got Eversole? Okay. Okay. 1266 needs some amendments, so we're holding that for now. House Bill 1316, and there are amendments. Delegate Eversole.
This bill requires National Center for School Mental Health at the University of Maryland School of Medicine in consultation with the State Department of Education to develop and publish a student technology and social media resource guide as specified. Before developing the guide, NCSMH, that's School Mental Health, must develop a needs assessment as specified by September 1, 2026. The guide must be posted and distributed as specified on or before the first day of the 2027-28, 28-29, and 29-30 school years. The amendments strike required funding by the governor and also strike the requirement to do a presentation with it. Move the amendments.
Any discussion? Okay, all in favor of the amendment signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, the amendment's passed. Motion on the bill is amended.
My hair's a mess.
Your hair is, it is a mess.
It is.
Any discussion on the bill as
Don't look at me,
amended?
I'm horrible.
Okay. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, House Bill 1316 passes favorably as amended. House Bill 1459, there are amendments. Delegate Feldmark.
Thank you, Madam Chair. House Bill 1459 alters the Western Maryland Economic Future Investment Program by modifying the membership of the Western Maryland Economic Future Investment Board, altering the purpose and eligible uses of money in the Senator George C. Edwards Fund, altering project evaluation criteria, and extending the annual mandatory appropriation to the fund through fiscal year 2031. There are amendments which strike the mandatory appropriation under the bill and alter the project evaluation criteria to be utilized by the board. Move the amendments.
Any discussion? Okay, all in favor of the amendment signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, the amendment's passed. Motion on the bill is amended.
Move favorable.
Any discussion? Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Questionable sponsor. Any opposed? All right, House Bill 1459 passes favorably as amended. House Bill 1475, and there are amendments. Delegate Plakovich-Carr.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This bill directs the Office of Child Care Advisory Council, which already exists within the State Department of Education, to undertake a fairly comprehensive analysis of our mixed delivery publicly funded pre-K system. The amendments add some additional topics that the group should look at, including how to best meet the needs of students who have disabilities, and also looking at basically physical facilities that are being used for public pre-K and challenges in identifying those. Move the amendments.
Okay, any discussion? Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, the amendments pass. Motion on the bill as amended. Any discussion? Me too? You'd like me to? Raise your hand, please. Okay, here we go. Round robin. You ready? Okay. It'd be easier for me to say who not to do, but the vice chair, Eversole, Patterson, Buckle, Fair, Hornberger, Miller, Roberson, Roberts, Wims, this is a good test for me, Vogel, Wu, Hartman. Am I going too fast? Who was the last one you had? Wims, Wu, Vogel, Hartman. It's everyone on this side. It's the rest of the horse, yeah. Miracle North, Griffith, Wells, JPC, and me, Okay, House Bill 1475 passes favorably as amended. Guys, real quick, we are going to be in tomorrow at 10. We still have to vote. I'm not going to make y'all come in before 10, but, yeah, I got stuff to do. But we might have to come off the floor because we're probably going to have one long session. We still have stuff to vote, so anything that we need to get on second reader has to be done tomorrow if, you know, to make it. So please pay attention. Subcommittees might have to do stuff on the fly, or we might just have to do amendments in full committee. So.
Just to be clear, Madam Chair, you're saying subcommittees would need to meet and vote by, like,
I would say like tomorrow afternoon, like 12, 1, yeah.
I would say that some.
We need,
I'm sorry.
we need it on second tomorrow. So we need y'all to vote, report it, and we got to get it reported out the same day.
Thank you. I went a little, you nodded before, so I thought. I would say Ed Sub should keep their ear to the ground. We might meet in half an hour before session tomorrow.
Okay. Anyone else have any
And
announcements?
I will have my hair combed better, I promise. Yes, I know, that's what.
Okay, with that, thank you. Can I?